I would say that within this past year or so, I've really been on a path to learning how to accept my autism. I was diagnosed with autism when I was 23 years old. And right after receiving that diagnosis, I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of confusion. I felt a lot of worry about myself, for my future. And while receiving the diagnosis did also bring me a lot of answers and gave me a lot of really important information that I could apply into my life, I still struggled for a while with accepting this diagnosis. And we cannot bypass the fact that being autistic can be really hard sometimes. There are still times to this day where I really hate having autism. Those times where I get so incredibly overstimulated or just so overwhelmed. Those times where it feels like everything is just really hard and that it shouldn't be that hard, but it is. But even in those moments, I'm learning to give myself more grace. And instead of being so down on myself during those times where it feels like I can't do anything right or that my brain is not cooperating with me, I'm learning to accept that that is my reality. And as humans, a lot of our suffering comes from wanting things to be different than the way that they are, especially when those things are things that we cannot change, that we have no control over. And with my diagnosis, I'm learning that this is no different. This is something that I don't really have control over, but I do have control over my intention behind things and finding ways to respond in a healthier way that actually supports myself and lifts myself up and shows myself love, as opposed to putting myself down and beating myself up over these challenging aspects of my autism. And it's kind of like holding both of these opposing truths at the same time. The first is that, yeah, it's really hard and it's going to be hard, and that's just the way it is. And the other truth being that I need to find some sort of acceptance in this so that I can find ways to support myself that allow myself to thrive instead of just getting by every single day. And I think that this is a lifelong practice and a lifelong journey of self-discovery and self-understanding and just trying to figure out our place in the world and how we can support ourselves better. And I just wanted to share this to remind you that it does take time and that we can't just bypass all our challenging aspects of our experience, because eventually those things will keep coming up too. And instead, what we need to do is do our best to find acceptance in those things and really acknowledging ourselves for getting through those really hard moments in our lives.